Hey guys, welcome to Site Lap for round two of the SMX series, Dallas Fort Worth, wherever you want to call it in Texas. That's gonna be fun. I'm your host Brent Bowser. We're here today with Jeff Beaver, who's already in Texas. What's going on, Jeff? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for hopping in and helping Ping out. Ping's still tied up with the line fire, just absolutely exhausted. Just couldn't get on today. So appreciate you hopping in here, filling in for him.
Yeah, no worries. I know he's been on that fire for a while. So shout out to him and all everybody else out there helping getting that fire contained. Not fun in Southern California with all the heat and the smoke, I'm sure.
Oh, it was gnarly. If you guys follow Simon Covey, go look at his Instagram page and look at the pictures he took of the fire. He lives in that Costa de Caza kind of area where the airport fire kicked off, and it burned over the hill into Elsinore. And dude, it was gnarly. It looked like an atomic bomb went off. The mushroom cloud from that thing was insane.
Yeah, that's wild. So hopefully they get that under control and everything's back to normal soon. I'm sure he's probably ready for a break. But before we jump into Fort Worth, I like to call it Fort Worth. Everybody's calling it Dallas. It says it's in Fort Worth. Fort Worth Stockyards. Let's do it. So
It's Texas Motor Speedway, baby.
before we jump into that, I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsors: Rock and Turf, Maxxis Tires, Speed Strap, UR Water, Baja Designs, and if you haven't checked it out already, check out betonline.ag. We'll talk a little bit about the bets that you can make for this weekend. There's some pretty interesting ones, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a little toasty on Saturday. It looks like it's gonna be about 98 degrees. Definitely not any wet weather in the forecast, so it's going to be pretty dry and probably dusty there on Saturday.
Well, that sucks because the weather was beautiful today, and I haven't looked at the weather, and you just ruined my freaking weekend. So screw you.
I know I looked, I'm like, oh, 98 with like 46% humidity. It's going to be a sicky hot little thing out there. Also, one thing I want to talk about with the SMX and two moto format. Those guys are going 20 plus one. With that heat, I think fitness is going to be a bigger factor this weekend. I don't know how hot it was in Charlotte, but I don't think it was 98 and this much humidity. So,
It wasn't that hot and humid, but it was enough to where I'm glad I wasn't riding the bike. But if it's truly going to be what you're saying, I just want to punch you in the throat right now.
hey, I mean, I would trade you spots. I'd rather be at the race than sitting in my house, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, after 2 days of that, about the second set of motos, you're like, yeah, this sucks. No, it's not that bad. Could be worse.
It,
Could be guys on the bike.
It'll be cool. This is our first time here at Texas Motor Speedway. I looked at the track map. It looks pretty cool. We'll see how it plays out. I'm a fan of these track layouts. I know the riders may have some mixed emotions on it because of bike setup, right? It's motocross, supercross, what do you set your bike up for? But I think it's fun and interesting to watch. And also, this weekend is double points. So last weekend was, single points. So double points this weekend and triple points the following weekend. So yeah, if you had a bad round one, you can make up a lot of points this weekend. So I'm curious of the strategy if it changed or these guys are just going to go out there and do what they do. But should be a fun weekend in Fort Worth.
Yeah, it definitely makes things interesting and spicy. What are the points at in both classes?
Yeah, so in 450 class, it's crazy. So Chase Sexton only has a 4 point lead over Jet. Then 5 points back is Hunter Lawrence, Tomac, and Jay Cooper 12, and AP is 13. So it's tight, right? So any of these guys are pretty much in the battle, especially double points this weekend. I think Jet came in 12 or 13 points back, and he's already only four back. So
Yeah, I mean anything can happen. It's definitely a cool setup. This track looks like it has a lot more rhythm lanes to it, more supercross style than the setup at Charlotte. So it'll be interesting to see what tweaks they make or if they just kind of leave it the way it was and just kind of keep doing what they're doing. There's a couple big sand sections in
yeah,
there. So that sand's really got to screw things up too, because no matter what you do, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So be interesting to see how the guys ride, but we're here for it, and that's the fun thing about you don't they
you don't
don't
know. They don't know.
exactly
They
what
don't know.
to do. So it's kind of like Yahtzee and let's just see
Mhm.
what happens. And I mean, Yamaha seemed to be pretty on, and so did Honda last week. So it's can KTM really get it together? Is I think kind of the big question.
Yeah, I'm looking at, like you mentioned, the Honda Yamaha, Eli Tomac, he rode very well and won the first moto. He was leading all second moto. Obviously, Jet got him at the end, but he looked very solid all weekend. Same with Jet. I feel like that first moto, he was just trying to fill himself out. Maybe I expected maybe around the 15-minute mark that he might maybe feel a little fatigued, but that did not happen. And yeah, Chase's bike didn't look right all day. I feel like maybe they missed a setup. I asked that question in the press conference. He looked comfortable outdoors, and that track was pretty outdoorsy. But they're running a lot of Supercross setup, but just softening it up because of the outdoor section. So this weekend with the track having more Supercross, I'm curious how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more technical than Charlotte was. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. What do you think? What do you think of the 250 class?
So Deegan, man, I that ride at Charlotte was unreal. Everybody said that track was hard to pass on. He passed a lot of guys, no problem. And I feel like these type of tracks fit his style. He that send it, and even listen to Chance Hymas talk about you're uncomfortable on these tracks, and if you don't have that send in you, it's gonna be not good. So Deegan, yeah, he's got a 8-point lead over Kitchen, 13-point lead over Vial, 14 over Shimoda, and 15 over Beaumer. So yeah, he pretty much stomped them last weekend. I don't know what they're gonna have to do to put a kink in his armor.
I don't know why, but something tells me to keep an eye out for Kitchen this weekend.
Yeah, he
He
rode
kind of
good. Yeah, he rode
he
good.
was on fire last weekend, pretty good, and anything goes a little bit sideways for Deegan with the double points, and it could be a Kitchen coming up on top this weekend. So I wouldn't be surprised if that guy did something, but then I wouldn't be surprised if Hayden just went out there and destroyed everybody again. I mean, the guy's just, it was kind of like watching
Dude,
MJ early in his career when he was playing for the Bulls. He just was young, hungry, and just kicking everybody's ass. One of the things I asked was in one of our polls was, can anybody beat Hayden? And I got a lot of responses, and it's 93% no.
I
Nobody's going to
mean,
beat him.
from what I
But
saw
I'm
last
leaning that
weekend,
way.
yeah, from what I saw last weekend, with the bad starts, and again on a track that's quote unquote hard to pass on, he made up some lines in some sections that nobody else was doing. The quad, that line coming out of the quad, that corner, he was banking up on the wall. He's just very creative, and yeah, Kitchen rode good, and there's other guys up there, but he just made his way through the pack, and I don't know if anybody else would really have could come from 8th or 10th back to what he did and then check out. So yeah, man,
Yeah,
he looked really good, and that comment, the comment he had with RJ about yelling at him in practice, it's always something. But he said in the press conference, anything fires him up, so it's all game.
yeah, Juju and RJ are the only other two that I think you can really put into the mix at this point.
Yeah, and what's cool about it, we saw it last year at the final round, the LA Coliseum, where again that was triple points, and even after the first moto, and Hayden had a bad first moto, Jordan Smith was in the running to win the whole thing. So,
I thought it was Joe Shimoda.
it was all of them, Joe Shimoda, Jordan Smith, all of them, because the triple point. So it just shows you that even though Deegan stomped him last weekend, anything goes, right? I feel like Deegan, the only person that could beat Hayden is himself. Or if he goes down off the start or has an issue in the race, his speed has been phenomenal. Maybe somebody else gets in there, but you just again, if someone sticks around like Kitchen or Vial, Shimoda sticks around, and they go into the final round in Vegas with triple points, it could be anybody's win.
Yeah, next weekend's going to be
Dude, it's gonna be
insane.
it is. That triple
Somebody,
points really
somebody's going to go
throws.
home pissed off, and somebody's going to go get
Yeah.
themselves a hangover. You know?
Yeah, and that was the other thing
So,
I wanted to point out. I actually took some notes on this. I don't think I think people understand the payout these guys are getting to race this, but maybe not to an extent. So just want to chat a little bit about the points payout. 450 class, we all know. So if you win the SMX all three races, you're the champion SMX, you get $1,000,000. But let's say you end up at 10th. That could be Phil Nicoletti, Freddie Noren, whatever you may have it, Colt Nichols. That's 75 grand. So 75 grand for 3 races is pretty legit, in my opinion. Um, yeah, even if you get, let's say you get dead last, you make all the mains, your last 22nd place, 25 grand. I mean, I'd take that over 3 weekends. So they've definitely upped the money on that. 250 class isn't as good, obviously. They're not the premier class, but to win it 500 grand, it falls off. You go 250, 150, 10th place, 15 grand. So obviously the 450 has bigger payouts, but these guys are obviously all racing for a lot of money. And I'm sure that's a big factor for these guys. One position may not seem like a lot, but when you add double and triple points, it is.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely get spicy, and I think the racing is gonna get a little more aggressive as those points come in. And little birdie kind of was floating around, and I just think RJ is gonna be a little spicy this weekend. Just
Yeah,
kind
I mean, hey, you
of.
got the footage of Deegan, come after the first moto, and
Yeah.
maybe you created it, Jeff.
No, no, no. I had nothing to do. I was just an outlet. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just the guy with the camera there all the time. You know, I see Brian and he just kind of laughs. I'm like, dude, get over, just get used to it, bro. I'm gonna be right there with the camera, you
Yeah,
know.
you
But
know what?
I instigate nothing. I'm completely innocent in every
Sure.
way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
If you knew me, you know I'd never stir the pot.
Oh yeah, you're just so innocent.
No, never.
Yeah. So yeah, I was waiting for it though after I saw your clip on Saturday, and I just I wanted to see what was going to happen, and then RJ ended up Deegan was behind him. RJ went down. I was like, man, what could have been? And obviously RJ didn't have the best weekend. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's any spicy drama that goes down. Hey, give us something to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely be cool. I like this track. It just
Yeah,
I like that we're not stuffed in the dragway. I mean, ZMAX was cool, but
yeah,
I didn't like how everything had to be in the confines of that dragway. It was just pretty damn tight. Then again, a supercross track's pretty tight, but
yeah.
I don't know. It just something about the speedways, and they can open up the corners and stuff like that. And there's a lot of rhythm lanes. It's just gonna be kind of fun. It would be like going to Daytona, really.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I like watching these races because again, it's not like anything you've seen. Tracks are totally different. No whoops, so it tightens everybody up. And again, I Chicago last year was really cool as outdoorsy. So we'll see what happens this weekend in Texas. But either way, it's fun to watch, and I think it's going to be good. Eli Tomac was back. Dude looked solid all weekend. Chase, I'm sure he's getting bummed by now with little confidence by Jet coming back from his injury and beating him and getting the overall. So we'll see what Chase does, and Tomac and Hunter and all those guys. So I want to talk a little bit about Bet Online AG. They have some bets online this weekend that you can bet head to head, overall winners, whatever you're thinking for the weekend. The first one I think is pretty good. Tom Vial versus Levi Kitchen, their head to head battle. So uh, Levi Kitchen is the favorite, minus 130, but still, I feel like that's a pretty even playing field there. So if you want
Was
to put some
Tom
money,
Vial even at that race last week, dude? I don't even remember seeing him.
what's funny is he, yes, he went 4-7 for fifth overall, but if you look at the points because of how they come in and reseed, he's only 13 back. So for as bad as it was, it's really not that bad. But yeah, I
Oh, he
agree.
was just so quiet. I mean, I remember seeing him a couple times, but there was
He was
just
invincible.
nothing. Oh
Yeah,
my God, Tom's killing it, you know?
normally he gets a start, right? He's usually a good start, pretty good starter, so he's up there. But yeah, he was just kind of around that 5, 6, 7 range, both motos. So yeah, he was pretty much invincible, to be honest. Um, if you want to pick an overall winner, Hayden Deegan obviously is the favorite, minus 150. But some of these other bets, you can make some pretty good money. Levi Kitchen plus 450, Joe Shimoda plus 600, Tom Vial plus 650, Julian Beaumer, which is a long shot, but plus 1200. So there's some money to be made. If you don't think Hayden Deegan's going to win, there's some pretty good odds there. So that,
Shimoda would be kind of a good bet. Go put $100 on him.
yeah, I mean, he went 3-5. Even Kitchen, I feel like Kitchen went 5-2. if it wasn't for that red flag start at the first moto last week, he had
Oh,
the
dude,
whole
when that happened, I was like, that guy is
dude,
so
dude,
pissed right now.
dude. I mean, obviously you're worried about if someone's really hurt, but at the same time, you're just like, oh, dude, I just got a good start. And then he second, usually on the restart, you hope for like they get lucky and can get back up there, but he was buried, so it didn't work out for him. But I can see him again. He's plus 450. So if you're feeling Levi Kitchen, he had a good race last weekend. You can make some money there. 450 class. There's a couple of them that I like. Or there's two head-to-heads that are interesting. Jet Lawrence versus Chase Sexton, and Chase Sexton versus Eli Tomac. So again, if you want to be have a fun betting weekend, Jet Lawrence, Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac. Chase Sexton is the favorite versus Tomac, and obviously Jet Lawrence is the favorite versus Chase Sexton. So yeah, and then odds to win. Jet Lawrence is the favorite minus 125. Chase Sexton plus 175. Eli Tomac plus 500. So put a 10 spot, you get 50. Put a 100 spot, you get 500. So I mean, I don't dislike that.
No, that's pretty decent odds there.
He was very close last weekend.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
badass.
yeah, it's
Hey,
cool.
one thing I want to talk about, if anybody who's watching this is going to the round in Fort Worth tomorrow, at 11:30, there's a press conference in the paddock that's open to the
Oh yeah,
public. So if you guys want to go in and ask your favorite rider a question, it's your time. It's kind of cool that they did it. It worked out pretty well. Actually, it was a lot of kids that asked the questions at Charlotte. So
mm.
if you want to send your kid in there to go ask Levi or Chase or Hayden or Eli, any of those
Any of
guys,
those guys, yeah,
something funny,
hmm,
or a serious racing question. It's game on.
that's cool.
Your media at that point.
Yeah,
Obviously keep it respectful, but um, yeah, it's a cool opportunity. So that the paddock's open from 11 to 6 tomorrow, and then there's that podcast thing at the end of the day.
yeah, I think that's cool. That's one thing that's about these SMX races. You can camp there. They have practice on Friday. They have that, like you said, that uh, press conference media thing they can go to. So I feel like it's a pretty cool fan interaction. Uh, and I can only imagine how many people were camping at Charlotte and how many people will be there this weekend. That's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if Supercross is going to start doing that on Fridays now.
Yeah, it'd be cool,
Is
honestly.
opening up the paddock on Fridays to, be a event ticket and then have a press conference like that. I mean, it's really a good idea, a good way to activate with fans and stuff like that, and gives the teams another. I mean, it's a little rough on the teams getting ready for the race that day, but it gives the teams another day to get people in front of their sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So there's some good advantages to it.
Yeah, and I heard some interviews after Charlotte that guys were like, it was kind of cool. Obviously, these tracks are different than what they're used to riding, but they were like, man, it was kind of cool. Friday, no pressure. It's not timed per se. And they're like, you can go out there and just ride your dirt bike on a new track and you don't have to worry about times. Some guys probably don't want the extra day, but I think some guys enjoyed it, to be honest.
They needed to practice, dude. They
Yeah.
had to give that day just to figure it out. Because if they would have thrown him in their Saturday morning and say go, it would have been an absolute shit show.
Yeah, for sure. Before we wrap this up, I want your winners for Texas this weekend.
Jet and Hayden.
Yeah, I feel like that's hard to go against.
And with
Yeah,
Justin Cooper with a whole shot in the 450, I think he's going to yank another whole shot.
yeah, I agree, dude. He set a burner lap time last week and get that pole position. He's solid. I like Jay Coop.
That
He's just
was sick, dude. That I didn't expect that. I was like, dude, that's pretty sick, dude.
dude.
Good.
And honestly, I just like his personality. He's just quiet to himself. He does his job and it doesn't seem like any bullshit, and yeah, I like Jay Coop. He's always
Unless he
been.
brings his dog on the podium, then
Yeah.
Jet.
Oh yeah, I forgot about a couple of years ago. Dude, we should do that again.
I'm going to get him a stuffed dog.
You should. Yeah, 250. I'm gonna go Hayden. 450. I want to say it's gonna be slick and fast, supercrossy. I want to go Tomac. So I just want to see the points tighten up. I don't want to see Jet go 2 for 2. Again, I like Jet Lawrence. He's phenomenal on a dirt bike. There's no question about that. I just want to see these guys have a battle to the end. So
Yeah, I
I
want
want
to see him roll around in the rocks when they hit Vegas.
to, yeah, exactly. But yeah, solid for Jet Lawrence in his first race back. I was pretty much mind blown to say the least because again, he hasn't been on the bike very long, and surgery, and he wins the overall. So yeah,
Where's Hunter in the points? Is he fourth?
yeah, he's
Fifth?
no, he's third. He's only 5 points back. Jets points back, so they're 1 point off each other, and they're not far behind Chase. So again, with double points this weekend, it's gonna be the points are gonna look a lot different come Monday or Sunday after the race.
Well, I'll tell you what. After that first moto, I was sitting on the wall and I look over and Hunter's on my right, Jet's on my left. Jet's talking to somebody, giving an interview, talking about how he kind of forgot how to ride and he was joking.
Oh yeah.
And Hunter's over there just like, I'm gonna run him over with the freaking car. I mean, yeah, that whole pillow meme may come to fruition
Dude.
before too long. He just has that look like, what do I need to do to beat this son of a bitch? You know, he's
Yeah.
my brother. I can't
Well,
kill him. Yes, you can. He put him in the hospital for a little while. You could see the angel and the devil on her shoulder talking. You know, it's like
yeah.
that guy. You've got to put it in there that he could sneak one out too.
Oh yeah.
You have to put it in there that Hunter's still a contender in there. AP, I
A
don't know.
bad weekend. I
After
feel
that
like
dirt nap, I mean, he didn't take a dirt nap. That was Jason, but
AP had that crash off the fake start
yeah,
on Friday.
he hurt his shoulder, I guess, or it just made it sore. Hopefully, that was just
Yeah.
no lingering side effects, and he can come back
Yep.
and for the whole donations thing.
Yeah,
That
I
was a good
know.
look last week, and I was like, oh,
No, I know. I'm like after everybody was laying like, oh, it's between Tomac and and Plessinger, and then Plessinger had that weekend like he did, and then Tomac comes out looking like just some beast mode. I'm like, oh God.
Roger was on the phone to Europe. Hey, we're gonna need a couple of those works chassis.
Yeah.
Come time we get to Matterley, we're gonna leave our shit at home. We're gonna just bring one of your bikes.
Also, I was super impressed. Obviously, Eli Tomac is, one of the all times in the sport. He came back a couple of rounds outdoors after his injury. But dude, just listening to his bike when they weren't talking on TV, it was like Eli Tomac was back. It was full throttle and all clutch and just
Dude, when they
some
were coming out of that rhythm lane and
yeah.
there was just that flat straight to that ski jump,
Dude.
he went by me. I was like probably 8, 9 feet from him. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
that was cool.
And I don't know how, and it's crazy if you watch him. I'm like, how do you go any faster? Then here comes Jet, not cruising, but like it doesn't look that hard. And Tomac was just, it was impressive. It was
Jet may have been going as fast or faster, but he did not look like
no,
it.
no, it doesn't sound like it either. They even had it on
Eli
TV.
would go through that and then he'd hit that little wall. Did you see that video, that clip I put up yesterday? I think it was yesterday or no, it was yesterday, where they come back past the start and then he was hitting that
Oh
little
yeah,
off to
yeah,
the left and then he was manualing and
manualing, yeah,
you doing the Tomac head lean over.
yes,
Dude, it was so sick. When I saw that on video, when I was looking at the clip, I'm like, oh crap, I caught that sweet, you
dude,
know?
yeah. He looked good, and it was just cool to see them because they really haven't battled, right? So Tomac was coming off the Achilles and Supercross, so him and Jet didn't really battle. Jet pretty much had his number, and then Jet gets hurt outdoors, and Tomac wasn't there. So yeah, this is kind of their first
Did you see
run.
that? Almost flying out of the damn chair. This freaking hotel chair. I went to lean back. There's no back to it. That would have been hilarious. My feet just come up in there. I'm looking
Dude,
like Kamala Harris.
dude, we would have left that in there. Shit. All right, all
Oh,
right. Well,
Nate would have highlighted that. He would have rewound it and put it back in.
dude, that would have been the thumbnail on Instagram for sure.
Yeah, just my feet in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody would have
Oh,
that
shit.
one.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for Sight Lap for Texas Motor Speedway. We'll see you guys for Riders Meeting probably on Sunday.
Yep.
If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.